Hello there, fellow nerds. So this is part 2 of a story, Daredevil the Venom King, or what if Daredevil / Matt Murdock got the Venom Symbiote? Link to the first part in the description. Probably won't make much sense if you haven't listened to the first part, and again I guess I'll add a spoiler warning for the Daredevil show. You have been warned, go watch it, it's amazing. So we pick up where we left off. Matt has been exploring a lab that he knows is owned by associates of Wilson Fisk / the Kingpin, and a little piece of black goo has just crawled up his leg. There'll be a scene in here where it's talking to him, he's exploring his new powers, and since the symbiote doesn't like vibrations caused by loud noises, at first Matt feels how overwhelmed the symbiote is by Matt's super senses. The symbiote talks to him, fascinated by Matt's ability to filter and focus on different noises and smells. Matt, in turn, finds his abilities are even sharper once the symbiote figures out how to use his ability too. Soon he starts treating everyone, Karen, Maggie, even Foggy, quite badly. So, of course, they think he's just acting extra horrible because of the stress of all sides of his world crashing down around him. But he's acting worse than he ever has, which is really saying something, and after a while they start to suspect that something is truly wrong. One clue is that at the beginning of the movie he's wearing the red and yellow comic suit, and then he starts wearing this pure black one that's different from his Man in the Mask look from seasons 1 and 3. It covers his whole body, like Spider-Man's symbiote suit, but it's not skin-tight and doesn't have the web lines. Foggy and Karen notice this when Matt appears in the news from time to time, and they're kind of put off by it, but they assume it's just a reflection of his inner state. Which it is, but not in the way they think. During that montage of time, we see Foggy looking sicker and sicker, thinner and grayer. But he still jokes around a lot and tries to engage Matt in those jokes, but Matt just can't get himself to lighten up. He sometimes shows up at the office with cuts and scrapes that when asked about them, he honestly can't come up with the answer to how he got them. He blacks out and misses court dates and whole days or nights, but since he keeps working his way through Fisk's crime rings and manages to win several fights with various superpowered criminals, including the one with cat claws, he decides that lost time isn't really lost and therefore worth it. So rather than letting his friends help him figure it out, he snaps at them, tells them he doesn't need their hovering. One evening, they're in the office, and Foggy asks Matt to take a case that's really in Foggy's area of expertise. Foggy says the case would be really good for the firm, would really get the attention of bigger clients, but of course, Foggy would have to help a bit. Matt doesn't want to have to collaborate with Foggy, and he says so. Foggy asks why, and Matt says Foggy isn't doing enough, and if he really wants to take the case, he's going to have to take full responsibility for it. This is so unfair that Foggy doesn't even get angry. He just stares at Matt like there's an alien standing where his best friend should be. He clearly doesn't realize, though, how close that is to the truth. "What's up with you?" he asks Matt in utter disbelief. "We're busy," Matt says. "We'll let you know when we get to the bottom of this." He turns to leave. "Who's we?" Matt only pauses at the door. "Good luck with the case." And then he walks out. He hasn't told Foggy, but Matt has started to suspect that Fisk poisoned Foggy with one of his experimental concoctions to get back at Matt in a way that would leave Matt without proof. So when he finds Kingpin in the building Fisk bought at the beginning of the movie, he threatens to go after Vanessa. But Kingpin tells him he had nothing to do with it, and Matt realizes Fisk's not lying. Kingpin tells Matt that this is just proof that if the god Matt serves is real, he is an unjust god. Side note here, I don't know if Fisk knows Matt is a Christian, but the jab was just too perfect to pass up, and plus, after all those scenes where he hears Fisk goading him in his head in season 3, I can't let go of the sound of his voice as he tries to tear Matt and Matt's faith to shreds. Matt tries to argue with this, but he can see no way around it. We see the black Venom suit flickering at the edges of Matt's red and yellow Daredevil suit as Fisk goads him. Matt's eyes have gone shiny, pitless black. We cut to see Vanessa in front of a monitor, and we realize she's watching what we're watching. Matt confronting Fisk about Foggy. Cut back to Kingpin and Matt. By the time Fisk's finished speaking, the symbiote suit has enveloped Matt, covering him face and hands and feet, and Matt unleashes himself on Fisk like we've never seen him unleash himself before. He beats Fisk brutally until blood splashes on both of them like their confrontation at the end of season 3. But unlike the end of season 3, when Fisk shouts at Matt to finish it, Matt doesn't stop. He pummels Fisk face and body, screaming into Fisk's face. Then the door bursts open. It's Vanessa, and she has a gun. She points it at Matt, and for a moment, it looks like Matt's just going to keep smashing Fisk's face in and not see. but as she presses the trigger, he hears the tiny click and flips out of the way at the last possible moment. Matt crashes out of a window as the gun rings out and disappears into the night. Vanessa asks Fisk once again why he didn't call his guards to try to kill Daredevil, this enemy that has plagued him for so many years. Why did he wait for her to come in when he was almost at the point of death? He says, quite truthfully, that revenge on superheroes for failing to save the world was the only thing keeping him going during the blip, and for him, that hate was embodied in Daredevil, his main superpowered enemy. And although he's trying to create superpowered people to work for him, he's angry that for all the strength he has as a person and as a crime lord, he can never truly beat Matt without the assistance of other, more powerful men. And Vanessa says that if he's tired of being weak, he should instead make himself stronger. And then she walks out. We cut to Matt, running down a dim alley. Every few moments he stops and cocks his head, listening for pursuers. The black suit still engulfs him, but he seems to have lost the smooth strength given him by the symbiote. We can hear him gasping for breath, almost as though the suit is strangling him. Finally he stops, sure he's free of pursuit, and drops to his knees. "I almost killed him," he bursts out. "Oh God, I almost—" He tries to rip the suit off his body. He claws at it, but it won't come off. He screams a throat-tearing scream of desperation and rage, but it's hard to tell how much is Matt's horror at what he's done and how much is the symbiote under threat, refusing to budge. Either way, it's clear that Matt has realized what the suit is doing to him, and that if he wants to keep from losing himself and all his relationships, he needs to rid himself of it. We leave Matt in that alley, and the scene changes, and we see Vanessa face-to-face with the cat-clawed girl from earlier. It looks like the girl who escaped from prison at the beginning of the movie, a few years older now, her black hair turned ghostly gray. "Wilson was afraid his life would be over without the hate he has for Daredevil," Vanessa tells her. "But you're strong, aren't you? Show him you're stronger than him, Felicia." Yes, this is Black Cat, if that wasn't obvious before now. "Kill Daredevil," Vanessa commands her, and then adds more softly, "Then, maybe Wilson will realize he doesn't need to hate Daredevil to be strong. That all he needs is me." But Black Cat backs away. "Your husband's insane, lady," she says, "and so are you. So's Daredevil, but I'm not crazy enough to go after crazy." And just like Matt earlier that night, she leaps out of the window and into the dark. So then we cut to Matt again, and he's stumbled to the church to see Maggie. He tells her about the confrontation with Kingpin, and he's very angry, both self-pitying and self-hating, and saying a lot of things similar to the beginning of Daredevil Season 3, when he kind of wants to give up on both himself and God. And she tells him that God never promised to fix the world until the very end, that's why they believe in the restoration of the world, including the body, that Christianity is about life, not just of the soul, but also the physical form, because it is holy too, and God cares for our physical pain as well as our mental and spiritual pain. She tells him to remember that Foggy is still here, and still has a chance to recover, that Matt is supposed to do what he can to love those around him while they live.